you know, but it takes a certain mentality to be able to live what's happened. Every night or whatever like that. No, you gotta have the mental, whatever goes on.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you guys are so, just the whole Baltimore city is desensitized to death.
It really is.
From shooting somebody to death on the corner to the city worker just, oh, smells like shit. We got 5 dead ones in there. Like,
that's a good point.
It's just nothing. It's nothing.
You're right, Johnny. We build from that. And that's what keeps Baltimore very respectful as well. Let me give you an example. Because for the true G's, for you, the one underlying thing with Baltimore is that you can die anytime. You don't know who's a gangster. You don't know who got it. None of that. So you always want to be, unless when it's go time, it's go time. If you say, Carl, these guys down here on our block, blah, 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 we got a mission we're going to do, that's that. But what I'm saying is, it's in everyday life. It's a certain level, Trevor, because we always know there's a chance you can die. Yeah. You cut somebody off, somebody might shoot your car up. You might shoot, somebody might blow your head off. So it's always a level of, you know what I mean? Like real.
It's like prison.
Yeah.
Jail and prison are really like that. It's like, hey, are you using the phone?
You understand?
Because I can go after, no big deal. Like everybody. He's like, because that shit.
Right.
Because it can pop off in an instant.
Because it's going to be that easy. And of course, remember, Maryland isn't an open carry state. You know, so it's different than other, states that have open carry rules. No, so you don't know who got it on them. You know, it'd be the old man in the chicken box spot. You done wanted the way, old man. But the whole time, he an old school gangster. And he been waiting knuckle hit him. You know, so it's just those type of things that happen in Baltimore.
So gun dealing is an industry.
Absolutely, right.
It's like New York, so you can make money selling guns and shit.
Yeah, man, the switches and all that. Think about it. We went from back, say, in the 60s and 70s that you fight somebody to like 70s, 80s, 70s, and 80s. Yeah, I mean, you might have to stab somebody. The knife was, the bigger thing. Then you had your 38s and stuff like. They got Glocks. Then you're like, okay, got a Glock, right? And let's say you got 17 shots. That's a lot of shots to do from having 6 shots. Not only the 17 shots, now they got the drums on it, and now not only the drum, they got the switch on it. So now ways for you to kill people and kill each other even at a faster rate. And a lot of these guys shooting with their eyes closed. They're not real, so that's why a lot of innocent people actually get hurt because there's so many bullets and ain't nobody really got, and everybody's high.
Yeah, everybody.
You wake up down to bookings. One of the side effects of Xanax is that it can be temporary. So you can wake up and not even know, inside the door, you done woke up, you look at the toe.
That is how it go. Like when you get jammed up, they slide through your charges. Cause they about you, whatever. You hear that shit as you being arrested, handcuffed, or whatnot. And then the next day, they slide the paper under there like, yeah, this the state versus you, or this with the state saying that you're accused of woo woo woo. You be like, oh shit. Then you see how much time those charges carry. You be like, damn. Reality start hitting you. Be like, man, I'm sick in this bitch. I don't want to eat. I don't do anything. But I'm gonna run it back though. This y'all missed the crucial part about the drugs and why it's so important to be sober minded, because blacking out, like he said, that's one.
Last night.
Some mistake.
It gotta be.
Hey, check the security camera out. That's funny. So do you think Baltimore also, because speaking of everybody getting high, I mean, when we were growing up, meaning like it was not drugs, to these losers,
Right.
these old 70s and 80s. Those are the junkies, and we're the fly drug dealers, and we
Right.
smoke and we have bitches,
Right.
you know. But it seemed like that missed Baltimore. Like Cavario, for instance. You know, Cavario, who's been a good friend of the show, talks about when he went to Baltimore and to try to get on selling coke, he went to a club, like a nightclub, and there was like this like hot black girl, like a bunch of these like hot, you know, they're club, and they're like from heroin.
Well, I've never been there before, but they remind me of Philly. I have been to Philly, and it's really nice. It's like one big ass downtown. A lot of trolleys going through the middle of the street, people riding. It's crazy. It's chaotic.
Like
Right.
Baltimore, I think that's kind of like unique to Baltimore, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, Baltimore, we have the title capital. You know, even 50 Cent, he had what was it called? I
Baltimore
forgot the name of the
Lover,
song. But he references Baltimore as like the dope capital. Something about his love thing. It'll come to me.
It's a Baltimore, it's a love thing.
Yeah, because he was talking about dope.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I mean,
But is there just not that stigma amongst like, you know, like young black,
no,
you know, they just don't have that.
no, it's largely because of the music as well. You know, remember, you got
This is a positive for the day, and we're going to carry on in just a bit. This is a positive word from Sarah Young. Jesus calling, enjoying peace in his presence. This is the word for May the 19th, and we're going to carry on. And this is the motivation for today. I want you to know how safe and secure you are in my presence. That is a fact. Totally independent of your feelings. You are on your way to heaven. Nothing can prevent you from reaching that destination. There you will see me face to face, and your joy will be off the charts by any earthly standards. Even now, you are never separated from me. Though you must see me through eyes of faith, I will walk with you to the end of time and onward into eternity. Although my presence is a guaranteed promise, that does not necessarily change your feelings. When you forget that I am with you, you may experience loneliness or fear. It is through awareness of my presence that peace displaces negative feelings. Displaces negative feelings. Practice the discipline of walking consciously with me through each day. And this was inspired by the book of Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, 12. And in Psalms chapter 29, verse 11. This here is how I walk with Christ. I don't know why my stuff showing like this, but yeah. This is how I choose Christ each day. I haven't been reading in like a month and a half because I've been going through things, and I've been going through things without Christ, you know. As a man, we know nothing, but we know it all. And that's just what my life been like. And I just realized that, you know, if I'm having good days or bad days, I should keep Christ through it all. And that's what I'm doing. That's how I'm learning to keep going. This is what it is. And this is a message from the high sharing about the importance of being sober minded. A message to myself, actually.
these rappers talking about drinking the lean, you know, popping the Zanny and the perk and all that. And Baltimore has that type. Baltimore is a city full of Davis, you know, Tank, shout out to him. We have, you know, Tupac came from there. We know, you know, we have a lot of different people who made that. But as a rapper, we had somebody on the level of a Jay-Z, of a Lil Wayne. You know, no superstar rappers have ever came from Baltimore. You know, but we had a lot of people like on their way up, but then they got killed. And that's like, we have this whole thing. Once somebody's out the city, another crab pull you down. But nonetheless, it's a city full of followers. So all of these trends that is in the Bay Area, if it's in Atlanta, wherever it's at, Baltimore at all, you know, like just like that kid who wants to fit in. You know, like okay, that's what we doing. You know, but the difference is Baltimore also has a culture of homicide, which a lot, when these guys getting high and they partying, These guys getting high, you know, so it's a difference. So, and I only mentioned the music thing because it's in the aspect of identity. So it's like, oh, they popping perks in Atlanta and drinking lane. Well, we're gonna do it more than them. We're gonna pop extra perks, extra lane. We're gonna show them that because it's a lot of successful drug dealers in Baltimore. You know, and I know that's a moron, but I'm just saying, like, it's a lot of people who are making a lot of money, who are not got rapper type money, but not rapper type fame.
Right.
So they feel like gotta have the Christian Dior's, they gotta have the Hublot, and you know what I'm saying, and they can afford it legitimately, legally. You know, it's that type of mentality.
Yeah, Baltimore lacks an identity in like a legal lane.
You understand?
Like the Wire, but it's only no really bad things.
Everywhere I go, Johnny, say, is Baltimore really like The Wire? Let me hear you say, you know, yeah. This is how we talk.
It's fascinating how even the accent came to be. I mean, you're north of Washington, D.C., a half an hour north of D.C.,
right?
But it's a city that like feels and operates. And also, I think, don't you think the lack of gentrification, you know, all these cities, D.C., Atlanta, New York, Chicago, I mean, they still have their hood. The downtowns have been revitalized. People into, you know, strike it out and get cheap rent. And why does Baltimore not have any kind of flow? Austin is like, you know, it's this place where like young people are going, and in Baltimore. It's around all these cities that have really like been revitalized.
Design. You know, I think that some of the politicians who are on top, like the mayor or the governor, but some of the people, it's by design. Remember, people get paid off of the misery of others every day. So it's no mistake that these drugs are in the community, these guns, these homicides, you know.
All of those type of things. So they're gonna allow a certain amount of crime, certain amount of sickness, etc.
The government has 4 things in Baltimore, and I think this model could address across the nation: joblessness, education, and mass incarceration. If those things are addressed, things change for anybody. Listen, in Baltimore, there is gentrification. It's a lot. A lot of neighborhoods that used to be just straight hoods, we have Johns Hopkins. We are the home of Johns Hopkins, and it's in the world. And they bought up a whole area of the city. It was called Dickey Land, and it's nothings and hotel. I think it's a Marriott or something right there on Wolf Street. So it is happening that we have a lot of that are full of more blacks, Hispanics, and whites. Like a spot like Highlandtown, a lot of poor whites, Middle River, Dunn. These type of places, they have a lot of different, you know, and remember, these people aren't voting. Things are happening to people because it's a design. It's not. So I think it's somebody or some people who are making a lot of money in Baltimore, and they don't want it to change, and that's why the nature has been that for so long. You know, I mean, think about it, man. We have beautiful colleges there. I mean, like I said, we're not far from sea, Virginia. Maryland is a very rich state. Think about it. Montgomery County, I think, is like the richest county in America, because you have all of these federal, employees who in MoCo. That's short for county. So it's a lot of money flowing through Baltimore, a lot of opportunity. It's like being in high school. If you're not in the cool clique, you ain't gonna get no money. And most of us are struggling, so if you're gonna ever even get to meet somebody who can actually put some money in your hand or give you an opportunity to change. So that's with the Wire being what it was, right? Because people don't believe this. But when the Wire was brand new, a lot of Baltimore guys watching the Wire. we seen what was going on around the city, because it's always a lot of times they'll shoot in Baltimore, you know, like that type of thing, you know, like how they when they'll say, you get my point, but like we didn't watch The Wire, not like we was anti-Wire, we didn't know what was on. Like I said, it was lived next door to my uncle who worked at the on the show. He worked for Stringer Bell at his print shop, and he would come home with like Polaroids and stuff like that from behind the scenes. Like, yeah, but we didn't know what was going on. We young street trying to get money. We like, man, all right, well, I'm glad it's, you know, whatever, you know, acting. We ain't worried about showing up in no set. We worried about selling this dope. So I say that to say that after the fact that I got to watch it, and because like you said, HBO had a run. They had The Wire, Sopranos, Game of Thrones, Oz. Remember Oz? Oz? Man. So it was just like, once I really got into it, because the name in Baltimore, you know?
Right.
And then I'm like, then I talked to my big brother, you know, Fat Tater. He like, yeah, man, that's about my family, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, yeah. And then, but at this point, Fat Tater had already changed his life. You know, so I was blessed to have somebody who went through something on a major level to be able to help me pivot some.
Right.
Like, so while he was in jail and still bumping his head, I was still outside, you know, making my own name and doing what I was doing. But it helped who was some misfit. He passed now, but he was grown like into a political figure in Baltimore. So
you didn't come up under him in the drug game. Okay, so you just knew him after he had already changed his life.
No, so I knew him in the drug game. So what I'll say is this: he had went to prison, he had came home, you know, and so I knew him as a little boy. But then he went to prison, then he came home, then he started to get his life together. But it was still a time in between, and even with him exiting the game, he still had the knowledge and experience. So I was in the street, you know, because he's older than me, of course, you know. So he would like, boy, look, that's what you're gonna do, and I'm gonna tell you, when you're cutting that like that, make sure you do this like that. You know what I mean? Boy, look, it's like he didn't want to see me fail because he knew that what he gave me would give to somebody else. Like right now, he would be so proud. Man, you sitting with Johnny? Man, like, boy, you doing anything? Because he wrote a book. He says a book. I'm gonna get you a copy of it. It's called Growing Up Barksdale. You know, he talks about everything. The Wire didn't put everything in it about his family, of course. You know, because those poems and the news reporter, they were doing cruddy. They were working together, and they were doing cruddy stuff. They didn't put in there. They weren't working. I mean, if you think about the show, Nolte, he was doing a lot. All of them, they was doing craft, illegal things to acquire certain information and everything else. So, and he would talk about that, like, yeah, man, like, seemed like they were just doing the job, but no, in reality, they were doing a lot more. You know,
the police.
The police.
Who are super, obviously, you know, in Baltimore. Did you experience any of that? Like blatant police corruption when you were hustling?
Every day. Yeah, man, we used to call them the Cruddy White. They like, man, look, the Gun Trace Task Force, the disgraced Baltimore City Police Unit.
Which they also did a show about.
Yep. What was that? Yeah, he's a great actor,
John Bernthal,
Bernthal, right. So they didn't depict all of the stuff that they was doing, man. These guys were like some of the worst of the worst, though. I mean, I think there's so many police still operating the same way that they are all across the nation. It's corrupt that they got caught up for it. But yeah, man, what?
Were they robbing drug dealers?
Robbing, killing, hits for people so it'll work okay. One of them, they come shake me down or something like that, right? And they say, put me in the car, something like that, like they're gonna take me to the jail or something. They catch me with something. Say, hey, Carl, We see you out here making money. Now remember, this is a police talking to you. We see you out here making money, but gotta go to jail tonight. Got a deal for you. And I make sure
Yeah, I did it. Yeah. So it's 4,000. You feel me? Running fast, yeah, they do that. The thing about that is crackhead, they something else. They hard to deal with, be around, and unruly people, right? Not all, but majority. Um, I was exposed to crackheads at a young age, like just seeing people bug out, like I knew what that was about. I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do like that. You knew what a crackhead was. It was like that was the biggest thing when I was coming up. Like, it was a lot of crackheads around, and then like people were smoking weed a little bit. Reggie was a big thing, like you said. But yeah, they be having it bad.
Yeah.